the way that you've branched out into the products, if people haven't seen them, you should definitely go to your website, Scanline City website, to see these amazing metal plexi combination PCB covers for arcade boards. And I mean, that's the sort of the next general question I had when I was coming into this podcast. First of all, how the fuck does this guy make such good videos? Okay, understood. We've got that one. But then the second was, how is he so good at making videos? Oh, and now he can just do CNC metal work? I was like, how does one person, but you kind of mentioned it's the colleague who's got this skill in this area. What was the genesis of that in your own mind, and then working with your colleague on that one?
I mean, my job in general, even with my normal job, is I essentially take people who have a lot of skills at a particular thing, and I help them maximize and, you know, to the best product of whatever it is. So that could be working with an editor, or that could be working with a cinematographer, you know, and they have a lot of skills and they have a good vision, and I just try to help them hone that vision in. And that's very much what I do even on the product side with Christian, and because he's my designer guy, but he's got a lot of knowledge of how the machine works, of how different tools can work, what, you know, he knows the tools. But in terms of refining the design or even the workflow and all that, that's really where I come in, and he'll show me a design and I'm like, no. Plus I know the base. I know it's me, you know, in terms of the retro gaming community. Right. And so I'll look at the design. I'll be like, no, that's too over the top, or no, that, you know, that's too much. That's too little. That's, you know, and essentially I kind of base everything off of what I think is perfect. And you can, you know, and you can always make a particular product be, you know, really well done in a particular category, and which brings it down on another, right? It's always a balance. But yeah, I'm kind of the guiding person, I guess, with Christian, who designs those products. But again, we go through a ton of drafts. I mean, on those PCB boards, we went through a lot of steel before I felt like it was like, yeah, okay, that's right. And we still are refining it. And I plan to do an arcade board cover for nearly everything you can think of. Everybody who's messaged me saying, are you going to do it for this? We're going to do it for that. There's not one person that has messaged me that I don't plan on doing the PCB board they're asking for. And we're talking even, you know, rare stuff. Like I just got an R-Type Leo board, and I'm going to do an R-Type Leo board. And it might just be me that has that cover. You know, it might be me and like 2 other people.
Do you need the board? So if you need like, okay, here's some board. John, when are you going to do this for us? Do you actually need someone to send you the board so you can take the scans and something of it, measurements?
I that's something I'm working on right now. So like, for example, I don't have a Primal Rage board, but I think it would be really cool to do a Primal Rage, you know, because it's so big. So it would just be awesome. Right. But I don't have one. And I have somebody who is a customer that bought some other stuff, blanking on his name now, but that has a Primal Rage board, and he sent me measurements. And so we're going to try that. It's just, it's tough without really having the board, because a lot of times we'll even try it and be like, let's adjust these measurements, you know? And I don't want to send somebody a board and then they get it and it's not exactly right, because that was one of the reasons I wanted to do PCB board covers to begin with, because I would do that with other companies and I would get it and I would be like, yeah, this doesn't really fit, you know? That's something we're working on. I'm like trying to think, maybe I could supply people with stuff, either that, or maybe I need to just hook up with people who have a ton of boards, you know, collectors, and say, hey, I'm going to come to your place and all I'm going to do all day long is just measure boards, you know, because we have a digitizer, you know, which allows you to put a board on there and then you can mark all the points and it gives you a readout of exactly where everything is, which is really cool. And then we'll double check it with calipers and all that stuff. So, but again, that's just, we always make, but right now we use the boards that I own, because I have quite a few boards. I probably have like 50 plus boards of pretty popular boards. And we always make it for the board that I have, tweak it on the actual board. And then when it's good to go, then it's going to get sold. So there's nothing that we will ever sell that I have not tried, you know, and like.
It sounds like your style. Everything I've learned about you in the last 50 minutes or so. There's perfectionism. There's attention to detail. And there's this stuff takes time.
Christian gets
Are you
really
doing each
pissed.
of them? Are you doing? Sorry, pardon.
Oh, Christian, who is the designer, gets really pissed where he comes in there. Here, what do you think about this one? I'm so tired, and I'm like, it's off. And he's like, you know. So, yeah.
Are you making each of them individually right now? Like, or when someone orders, do you make to order, or are you making a batch? Oh, so it's one. If someone orders, then you make one. You can make them on demand.
We make them on demand, yeah. So we'll release, and most of the time it's like we release, say, those new Konami boards, and we get a bunch of orders in, and then it pretty much slows down, like completely. You know, you may get an order once in a while after that, but we kind of just prepare that once we release it, we're going to have to make a decent amount. But I hope to get to the point of where we're going to have stock available for some of the popular ones. And the only reason why we don't right now is because we're trying to get that Moss stick done, or at least we're trying to get the final versions of that. Then we're going to do pre-orders for that. So things are going to get, including the videos, in a good place. It's just that we're in a little bit still of that startup mode right now, of where you gotta, you know, get to a little bit of a plateau before you can even out. Yeah.
Who's handling when you, to make a product, okay, so you need to have an expert that you're working with who's the designer, who could make it, who understands the manufacturing process. Once we've got a unit in front of us, that's one thing. But then there's shipping, handling orders, dispatching the people. Is that you?
Yep.
Dang.
I will literally go to a shoot, come back, and it's at night. Christian will finish some orders, and then I will be like, all right, you can go home because you're tired. And even though I just spent like 12 hours on a shoot, I'll be out in the hallway packaging up your orders. That's me. And sending them to you. But I will also
That's an amazing work ethic.
I will check them. If they're not good,
I bet.
I don't send them.